They don't understand that we're supposed to have checks and balances. They don't understand that this is a country that was supposed to be for and by the people. They're also brainwashed by this Obama propaganda. You know, this guy's going to save us. Meanwhile, he's on the world stage this weekend with Gordon Brown, who openly called for a New World Order. Did you catch any of that? Did you catch any of the G20 New World Order talk?
No, I've heard some about it. I actually had some friends of mine that were going to the protest in D.C., and which I thought was great, and wished very much that I could join them. But so they talked to me a little bit about it, but didn't really go into any depth as to exactly what it was surrounding. And
well, basically, they just announced that they're going to have a new world bank system, that anybody that's not in on the plan, they're going to hold sanctions against. That there's going to be a world tax, that there's a new global currency that they're printing, and literally the headline out of Time magazine only hours ago, and we're going to put it up on screen for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, is Barack Obama's New World Order, Friday, April 3rd, 2009. And this is just one of like 25 articles I printed within the last 2 days. It's all over the place. It seems like they're now announcing that this is real and that this is their new structure of global governance, and we are going to be a part of it. And even Bloomberg, they said G20 shapes New World Order with lesser role for the U.S. and its markets. So basically, we're supposed to become subservient. We should fall into a second world nation because we've had it too good for too long, and that's what this New World Order is all about. Less for us and more for them. And that's why I feel like we do have to get up and use any means necessary peacefully to inform the people. Music's one way. We had a comedian on before. I do a talk radio show. I also make documentary films. There are so many ways that we can reach out to the populace. I just want to commend you for what you guys are doing. Where can people see your stuff, by the way?
We have, obviously, the MySpace page. We're working on recording more things. We have an album out called In Search of Lost Time that really kind of goes through, basically a lot of the things that have happened in my life. And, basically the first album that we released is about our past, and, we were really wanting to take things in a new direction, and wrote this new song and started doing that, and have since decided, the 9/11 truth community and the entire movement as a whole has just kind of embraced us. We're playing live shows as much as possible. We have actually been invited onto the bill as one of the bands in the Real Change and Transparency Conference that's happening September 11th through the 13th, which is it's a very, very big deal. It's going to be a great 3 days.
Where's that taking place?
It's in New York.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah,
very, very
in New
cool.
York City. It starts with a big rally and the concert on Friday, and then it's 2 days of just thousands of people, just coming together and standing up for 9/11 truth, and just basically saying that we need government accountability and transparency.
And that is the goal. I mean, we do need an independent investigation to what happened on 9/11. We really can't expect this administration, this Obama administration, to be any different from the Bush administration. We need real answers to these questions, and we have to expose to people that this is one of the tools, one of the modus operandi of this globalist crime syndicate. False flag terror is one of their main modes of control, along with the monetary system and eugenics. False flag terror is top tier. I mean, top three. It's how we get into wars, whether it be, World War II, with the Pearl Harbor incident, whether it be Vietnam with the Gulf of Tonkin, or whether it be this quote-unquote war on terror with 9/11. We see history continue to repeat itself, and that's why it's so important that we continue to press on these issues.
Exactly. Creating, we basically see exactly what you're talking about. That's what we've really recently opened our eyes to, is the fact that, the government we see now creates these issues, and they feed it to the American people as something that we need to be afraid of and something that we need to focus on, while in the meantime, they're just using it for their own personal agenda to forward and just try to get more power,
Exactly.
more and more power.
Exactly, and it's a consolidation of power, and it's problem, reaction, solution. And we see the same thing from this administration. I mean, we have this new leader of the Taliban who's just surfaced, and he's saying he's going to attack the White House, and Obama and his administration are saying that an attack on U.S. soil is likely. And you know, if there's another attack in the United States on any kind of large scale, people are just going to rally around this president no matter what the economy is. And they're just going to cow down yet again. I hope that we've woken enough people up that at least there'll be some hesitation. At least there'll be some opposition. There won't be the constant flag sucking that we saw after 9/11. Because this is one of the points I've been making recently. After 9/11, they didn't use George Bush as this iconic symbol to get things passed. No, they used the American flag. And after 8 years of Bush, instead of using the American flag, they literally created a cult of personality icon like Barack Obama being on the cover of The Amazing Spider-Man, being on the cover of Rolling Stone, literally looking like a god. People saying, this is the president of the world, having the Pepsi logo look exactly like the Obama logo. We're literally deifying this guy. And it's not the flag anymore. It's actually a cult of personality, a figure like Barack Obama. And we haven't seen anything like that in this country ever. It's like Stalin, it's like Mao, it's like Hitler, and to me it's very, very scary that is the symbol of America right now.
It is. I personally, I want a president. I want a leader of this country. I don't want a rock star. I'd like to be a rock star. But yeah, I mean they're just making him out to be It's the same thing with Clinton, where they had him go on Arsenio Hall show and he's playing saxophone and he's appealing to the children and that's all great, but just I really see that with Obama they're just kind of pushing it too far. I mean,
they're putting it on another level. With Clinton, there are a lot of similarities because they're both Democrats, they're both very slick talkers. They address people, they speak to them. They seem like they can get out of any situation. I was a fan of Clinton. I was bamboozled for those very same reasons. I watched Clinton on Arsenio Hall.
As was I.
I was a young guy then, and I wanted to believe in my presidency. We weren't at war at that point. The economy was good. It was a lot easier to believe in this guy. Who cared if he had sex with this intern or that woman? It didn't matter to me, right? That was nothing. You get this guy in, though, he's inheriting something completely different. He's inheriting our country in two separate wars, on the verge of a police state, and he promised he was going to pull back. We're going to get out of the war in Iraq. That's a total lie. We're going to have at least 50,000 troops there, and probably more, until the end of 2011, just in time for the next election. I mean, give me a break. We're going to propose more troops in Afghanistan, so we're obviously not getting out of that war, right? He also said, we're going to repeal some of these, broad powers the Bush administration put in there. No, we didn't repeal Patriot Acts 1, 2, parts of 3. We didn't repeal the Military Commissions Act. We continued renditions. We didn't really shut down Gitmo. And when they do, it's not like these people are going free. They're just going to another torture facility. So, those are the things that I try to explain to people who voted for Barack Obama. And right off the bat, I tell them, this is the first time I ever voted for a president. And I actually voted for Cynthia McKinney, a black woman who I knew had no chance of winning. And, I didn't vote for her because she was a woman or she was black. I voted for her because she was the best person for the job. I knew she didn't have a chance, but I had to vote my heart. And I hope that somewhere down the line, if our vote is ever going to matter, that we can get beyond this right, left, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican scheme and possibly bringing in a third party candidate or get a Ron Paul elected. You know what I mean?
Right. I had a lot of friends of mine that, they were like, we really want to vote for Hillary. We think Hillary's the best person for the job, but we see that Hillary's falling behind a little bit in the campaign, so we're going to vote for Obama, just for Democratic immunity. Just to ensure that and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you're voting for someone that you don't agree with, you don't really want in office, just to have a Democrat in office. And I'm thinking to myself, and I told him, I was like, don't you realize that there's not really a difference there? I mean, it's politics, and they're trying to lead us to believe that the Republicans and the Democrats, and we're at war with each other. Republicans want completely different things from the Democrats, and that's one big thing that I really learned from watching the Obama deception is that that's not the case.
Yeah, the same guys are in the background in the lobbyist groups, in the think tanks, in the organizations like the CFR and the Bilderberg Group, and they own both parties. It's very hard to get elected in this country if you don't have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars or that in support. So to be elected to Congress or Senate, you are almost certainly in the pocket of the special interests. It is only in rare occasions that you are not. And this is reflected in the rhetoric and the policies that have been passed, especially in the last 6 months.
Right.
I mean, you look at something like the GIVE Act, and they make it's always the Patriot Act or the GIVE Act, and it sounds so great. You get in there and you read about this mandatory service bill. You read how they're going to hijack 9/11 as a day of service and remembrance, where they're going to have memorials all over the country, and they're going to do knock and talks all over the country trying to recruit people for Obama's Youth Corps. This is so scary and Hitlerian. It is beyond the pale to me.
Hey, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that basically called the draft?
It is, except for the fact that it's not the military anymore. They actually created in this GIVE Act a private national service corporation. So it's going to be a corporate army.